I think we are waiting for, I think, Nikhil. Yeah, yes. All right, guys. I think let's start. The, I'll admit as and when the other students join. So I think most of them have joined. There's a new student, Prasant. I would like Prasant to just introduce himself to the class before we proceed ahead. Yeah, Prasant, go ahead.
Hi, yeah. Hi, I'm Prashant Bodlapati. Um, I have 2 years work experience. I have a long career gap of 6 to 7 years. I have been preparing for UPSC in that time. Um, that's about it. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah. So see, Prasant, again, we have a lot of UPSC aspirant here, like Nikhil, Vijay. So yeah, so we have a good mix of people from varied background now. And Prasant, just to have a quick check on you, did you go through the tasks that I gave you for before today's lecture?
Um, I have been only able to complete the first task. I mean the select and other queries.
Or did you download the MySQL Workbench community server?
I I was preoccupied with other work,
Okay,
so I
okay, no
haven't.
problem. Okay, because we are going to practice today, so I'm not sure how you will do it, but no problem. Just pay attention, and I'll try to keep it a mix of both Blackboard and Workbench. So yeah,
Okay.
let's start, guys. You can mute yourself and only unmute when you are, speaking or when you are raising your hands and then I ask you to speak, right? All right, guys. So I think yesterday, in the last class, we did complete the basic syntax select group by, right? So today we are going to jump on to table joins. Before table joins, I'll just brush like refresh a few things which I didn't cover in the class, but it like it'll if these are optional clauses, but sometimes it is very useful. I'll share my screen. Yeah, let me know if anyone is not able to see my screen. I hope everyone is able to see my screen now. So yeah, guys. So today we are going to do five important topics, out of which three are a quick refresher, and the joins and subqueries are the most important ones. So we'll not spend more time here. We'll try to focus like 80% of our lectures on joins and subqueries. Quickly, I'll just tell you that having, order by, and limit, these are the three clauses that I'll cover quickly. Case statements I'll be doing later on and joins and subquery, then most of our lecture will be dedicated here. I think having, most of the people might be knowing what having is, but I'll just tell you, having is nothing but when you want to filter a grouped table, right? After you have applied group by and you want to filter the results after group by has been applied to a column, so then you use having. So it does the same similar work like having, like where, but where applies on the original table before grouping, whereas having applies on grouping, a group table. So I'll just give you an example here. Anyone who like knows having clause or has used having clause uh, in his practice? No one? Nikhil, even you haven't used having clause? Nikhil, are you like, am I audible to you? I think Nikhil just comes online and is not listening. Lokesh, do you know about this having clause?
I know a little bit. After group by, we use this having class to filter for this.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just quickly tell the class because I think most of them have not used it. So I'll just like tell you like how this works. So let's say we have this ID and we have this salary, right? Let us call this department ID. Let us say department ID 111 222 and salary is 50, 60, 70, 50, 20, and 10, right? So now what I want is, can you just tell me which department, or let me just give you one more, 3, 3, 50, and 100, right? Can you give me a table where I only need the name of the department where the sum of all the salaries are more than 70? Anyone? Yes, Harshvardhan.
Uh, we need only department, right? Department, huh?
Department and its total
Select,
salary.
select
Select,
department ID,
select
comma,
department
sum,
ID,
sum
sum
salary, sum of salary,
salary
from
from, let's call this
table name,
T1,
then group by
group by
department ID, having
having
salary greater than 70.
some salary greater than 70. Yes. So see what did we do here, right? Uh, till here, you know what happens here when you just run when you run this command. This table is automatically groups it based on department. So you are grouping by department ID. So the department ID 1, department ID 2, and department ID 3. And what are you grouping this on? You are grouping this on sum of salary, right? So what it will do is it will sum all the salary for one, for the department one. So it will be 50 plus 60, 110 plus 70. So it will be 180 here. Then 2, what it will be? It will be 70. And then here, I think no, not 70, it will be 80, and then group 3 it will be 150, right? Let me just change this condition. Let me call this 80, right? Then this will be 80 here. See, now this is a grouped table, right? Now what I'm saying, there are multiple methods to do that, but what I'm saying is I want only those departments and the total salary where the sum of all the salaries are greater than 80, right? So now when you use having clause, so having clause doesn't apply to this table, right? Having clause goes to this grouped table and then filters out. So what is it is going to do now? It is going to go to the sum of salary column, and then it is going to check this condition. Whether this is 180 greater than 80, yes. Whether this is greater than 80, no, right? How this is not greater than 80? Because we are saying greater than 80. Had we said greater than equal to 80, then this would have been a yes. But since this is greater than 80, hence it is a no, right? So greater than 80, no. Then 150, is this greater than 80? Yes. So what will be the final result? The final output will be only 1, 3, and the corresponding total salary against it, right? So basically, what happens is, hmm, so what happens is having filters after the looping. Now, let's say if you had applied where instead of having, how would this query change? If you applied group by this, where sum of salary this. So instead of going here, it will go here. But you know that there is no sum of salary column here, right? So this particular query will give an error. So always remember, whenever you want to filter out after the grouping has been done, always use having. And if you want to filter out before the grouping has been done, right? Let's say if I ask you, show me that department. I'll just give another question. Show that salary, or maybe show that department where employee salary greater than 50, right? So here we are talking about the employee salary, right? So we are talking about this. So you will apply here where clause here. So in the where clause, it will filter out 50. No, yes, yes, no, 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 yes, right? So where clause will do this, and having clause will do this. So I hope everyone got this. I'm just quickly running through this. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. Now let us go to the next concept, which is, I think, order by. I think everyone know order by. Order by is nothing but it is used to uh, order the table in a particular manner. So either it could be ascending, descending, and what does it order? It orders a column. So let's say, for example, you have a table ID, and again we'll take the same table and salary. Let's say you have ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's say salary is 50, 100, 70, 30, 20, 90. And I say sort this table, sort this table with highest salary first, highest salary first. So see, what you want is you want the highest salary first. That means you want a final table where 100 comes first, then comes 90, then comes 70, then 50, 30, right? So you do nothing. First you write select star because you want all the values. Select star from table name. Uh, you don't want anything here, right? We are not grouping or anything. We simply want the table where the salary is sorted, right? So this will just give you the table. But if you want to sort this, you just apply order by clause. Order by is used to sort. Order by. Now, what you want to order by? You want to order it by salary, right? So order by salary. And if you don't put anything, right? Let's say if you're not putting anything, so this will default sort it in ascending order. But let's say if you want to sort it in descending order, then you put DESC. So it is always best practice to use either DESC or A or ASC. Just a second, what's happening to this pen? Okay, I think this pen is giving me some error. We have to do it without the pen today. So you do it order by salary, right? Any question? I think there's a question here.
Yeah, Neil, I want to
Yeah,
ask a
sure. Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Is there a way to sort multiple columns? Like, can we put comma and then other
Yes, yes,
column name
yes,
in order by to?
yes, yes, yes. It's absolutely possible. I was just going to tell you that. So let's say here you don't have anything, right? You just have a salary column. So if you do order by salary, ascending or descending, right? Or descending, so it will simply sort it. But let's say if you have multiple columns, so let's say I have ID, I have salary, and what could be the other column? Well, let's say these two columns because both are numbers 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 3, and let's say salary is 50, 70, 20. I'm just giving random numbers. 100, uh, 20, 30, right? And I say I want the final table such that it is sorted, or let's say I simply apply order by on both the columns, right? So I select star from table name order by Order by. Order by is nothing but it will sort. So now, if I just sort it by salary, so it will give me the first highest salary first. Well, let's say if I sort it by ID, right? Just ID. So what it will do, it will sort by ID first, right? So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 10. So this will be the final order. But let's say if I say ID and salary both, right? So what will happen in that case? So it will sort by ID 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 10. But if you see against 1 there is 50, against 2 there is 20, against 3 there is 30, against 5 there is 70, against 8 there is 100, against 10 there is 90. So how does this play out then? Is this table sorted by, because this seems like this table is only sorted by ID. How this is not sorted by salary, right? So does it make any sense to you when you order by two rows, two columns?
No, it's not.
No.
No, right? So let us just do this on the workbench so that you will get a better or a clear picture here. We are going to take a different table today. So let us call this table select star from E002 employee. So I have to first select the database, use CPE. Hmm. So we have this employee table. You see, we have employee ID, right? And we have employee salary. Let us just first simply sort by employee ID. Select this order by uh, ID. Order by ID. Right. Let me call this ASC. Let me just give it. It is a best practice to always say ascending or descending, and not rely on what the default is. Right. See, now this is sorted by ID in the ascending order. So 301, 302, 303, 3. Now let's say, as the question pointed out by Harshvardhan, order by ID, and I add another row or another column which is salary, right? And I am sorting. I'm not putting anything. Let it sort. It's sorted by default. See, do you see any change? It will sort by ID first, and then even though you have put a salary command, but it is not possible for it to sort by salary, right? So it will always sort by the first column name that you put, even though you want a second column. But unless there is a group by or something added here, right? So it will not make any sense to sort or order by two columns, right? Are you getting my point? So let's say
Yes.
if I extend this question and I give you another example. Now I think everyone is comfortable with group by, right? So this will be an interesting case here. So I have, and I want someone to answer this. Maybe I'll pinpoint on some student today. So let's say this is department ID 1 1 1. Let me give some random number. 1 2 2 3 1 2 3, and let's say there is some salary 50 100 20 40 29 10 15 20. Yeah. What's happening to this pen? No problem. Sorry guys, I think there's some issue here. I don't know what's happening. Let us keep it this way. So now I say select star from T1 order by one, two, and order and before order by, if you just do order by one, two, what do you think will be the answer here? Well, let's say we don't have unique column, we have different columns. So in this case, sorry, not one, two, just to be very specific, ID and salary, right? Anyone, maybe I'll call Harshvardhan. Do you think, can you just try to attempt this?
The answer of this
Just
is
can you just try to give an output here? What can be the output here in this table?
one, one, one,
Yes.
and
See,
salary.
just telling you what's happening here is, first it is going to order by salary, right? ID, and then after the ID, if there is something, if there is a way that it can order by salary, then it will go for it, right? In the previous example, we saw it was not possible. So let's say here it is possible, right? Here we have one,
Then it will
then
be
we have
100.
another one, then we have another one, right? Then we have two, then we have two, and then we have two, and then we have three. So it is sorted by ID. Now, once the ID is sorted, now you know the salary are different, right? So now it will go to the salary column. So in the salary, it will first give you,
And
what it will give you? I think it will give you 10, right? This one, it will pick up this, which is the lowest in one. Then it will pick up 50, then it will give you 50 here. Then it will pick up 100, then it will give you 100 here. Then it will go for two. Then in the two it will pick up the minimum. Since you have not added anything, so it will do it by ascending order, right? Let us put ascending first here. So then it will go to two. Which one will it pick first?
15.
It will pick 15, right? So 15. Then it will pick, I think, 20, and then it will pick 40, right? And then it will go to three. 30. So did you get how it is possible to sort two columns? If the first column is unique in itself, then sorting by second column will make no sense. But if the first column has multiple values, right? So it is possible to first sort it by ascending order, descending order for to the first column, and then within that first column, no, it will go to the second column and then sort by the second column. So is it clear now, everyone?
Yeah,
It's
it's
clear.
clear.
Right, right. Okay. So I think order by, I'll not spend much time. Now let's start table joins, right? The most important concept here. So we have done this thing. Now, before like starting table joins, I'll just like explain you some basic concepts of joins. Okay, this has come all over the screen. Hmm. Joins. See, joins are nothing but it is used to join two tables. Used to join two tables on some column name. See, whenever you're joining, so I'll just give like show you this thing. See, whenever you're joining, you're going to have two tables. So here, in today's example, we are going to play with this DB employee table and DB department table. So if I just go here and if I uh, do select star from DB department table, right? I think everyone has this already installed with them. So you can like go ahead and look at it after I'm done, or when I tell you. So see, department table. What does department table show you? Department table shows you nothing but the department ID and what is the name of the department. Engineering, human resource, operating. Why do we need this separate table? Because if you go here in the employee table, you see what happens in the employee table. You have the employee ID, okay, employee name, a salary, and the department ID. So department ID is used to identify the department in which the employee works. So you can ask a question that why don't we have the department name, full name instead of this number? So yeah, in this case it will work. But let's say there are other other records in the department table. So if I go here, let's say if I just run this department, so we just have the department name. But let's say if we had maybe when was this department established? Who is the department head? And different features about the department. How many people work in this department? What is the lowest salary of this department? On which floor of the office is this department situated, right? We have, let's say, 10 columns here like this in this department ID. And in the employee table, let's say if I had to put all the details of the department, so it would be repeated, across different employee name. So let's say if we have two, and instead of two, I just put all the department details. So we would have 10 columns here. Then again, some employee from the department two would have all the 10 columns populated against his name. Then again, let's say if this person would have been in department two, then again all the columns. So similarly, you're seeing there's a lot of repetition of values in one table. So to avoid that repetition, it is a easier way to just give that uh, give that entire set of columns a key, and that key is two, and then you are mapping this two to the department table, right? See, so two. So when you see two here, so two is nothing but it simply points that in some table, two will give all the records or all the unique values or all the details of this particular department. So you don't have to always clutter your table or one table with all the values. So instead, that's why we have multiple tables in a database, and these are used to map and have relations. So that's why DBMS and like all the database is called database management system is also called a relational database. Why relational? Because we have some relations between the table. So you see what is the relation here between the two table that I showed you. This was your employee table, this is the department table. And you see that the department ID from the department table is related to the department ID of the employee table. See? So so instead of giving all the value, we simply put department ID. So this is called a relation, right? So in whenever you work as an analyst, you will always first thing look at is what are the relations between the table. So this is also called relationship diagram or relationship schema or schema diagram, or with different name it is called in different companies. So you just remember whenever you see such kind of picture or such kind of image, so you just have to you don't have to be bogged down or overwhelmed by this. This is nothing but it shows the relation between the table. And why is that relation important? It is important because it will keep our table short and simple. And whenever you want to know the details, so you can use a function or you can use an operation called joins. Right. Now we'll jump on to join. So there are several type of joins: inner join, left join, right join. Don't have to be confused here. These are nothing but a way where you want to access one value which is not there in this table, but it is there in the other table, and there is some common link between these two tables. So you see, in this employee table and this department table, if you want the department name of an employee, can you give it by only the employee table? Is it possible to derive the employee department name from this employee table? No, because there's no department name column. Look carefully, right? But there is a department ID, and that is linked to the department ID of the department table. And here you have the department name, right? So if you somehow join these two tables with some key, and this link is called the key, right? This link is called a key. So ID is a key and department ID is the key. So when you join it on this key, so now you can access the department name, because एक तरीके से there is a bridge between these two tables, and from this table you can easily cross and go into this table, and you can access the department name. So this is what entire join is, right? Join is nothing but a way to access different table or values stored in different table. Now I'll use the same table and show you with example. So what was our table? Employee. We had employee ID, employee name, and department name, department ID. So ID was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Name was A, B, C, D, E, F. Department was 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. And let's say this was our department table. And there was department ID and department name. And this was ID1, ID2. This is, let's say, HR department, and this is, let's say, IT department. Now, you know that you cannot see the department name here, but somehow I want to see the department name. I want a final table such that I have employee ID, employee name, department ID, and department name. So I want this table. So how do you create this table from these two tables, right? From employee table and department table. So there is nothing but we use a concept called joins. And how do we use this? We do select. Let us not write anything what we want to select. Come here from employee table. Let me call this EMP. And you can give an alias to the table. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Did I get disconnected?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you got
Neil.
disconnected for some time.
Okay, no problem. I think there was some internet issue here. So where, what was I saying? Till where did you guys get it?
You were
Up.
just making the table.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so I think I just made this table. So there's nothing new here. So see, what we are doing is we are joining. So this is our employee table. This is our department table. Employee table has all the employee name, right? Employee details, employee ID, name, department. This department table has a department ID. What I want is a final table where I get employee ID, employee name, employee department, and department name. How do you create this table using these two tables? Using this table and this table. So first, what you do is you try to join these two tables, right? And we can give a alias to a table as well. So whenever you do a join, let's say from the table one, just to keep the name simple, let me call this as T1, right? Emp as T1. So emp is our employee table name. And when you write as T1, so this table name now becomes T1 for your reference. And then let me just simply say join department as T2. So now this table name becomes Tutti for you. So now, when you just do these two operations, what happens? What happens is each of these table rows gets joined with the rows of other table. So to be very specific, let me show you here. So when I just write this and pay attention because this concept is going to help you in interview and most of the interview start with this kind of questioning. So try to be very attentive here. What happens when I just write this statement? When you don't give any condition of join, you just do employee as T1, join employee as T2. So now what will happen is this particular each of these row will join to each of these row. So this row one will first join to row one of this table and then row two of this table. So what is our final table going to be? It is going to be ID, name, department ID, then ID, and then department name. So what are we going to get? One A, one, then one HR. Then again this value is going to repeat. Then two IT. Right. Now this is done. Now this will go to the second table, second row. Right. So sorry. Now we'll go to the second row. This is 2. Now this second row will again do the same thing. It will join to the first row of this table and second row of this table. So what are we going to get? 2B, 1, 1, HR. Then again this is going to repeat 2, IT. Right. Now what is going to happen? We'll go to the third row. Now this third row is going to join again with the first row and second row. And see how this is happening in sequence. Since you have put table T1 on the left, so always imagine this on the left side and imagine T2 on the right side, and then start with the first row and try to join everything. So now we'll get 3. C, what is the department name? 2. See now, this is not assigning or this is not using any key. It is simply how does the computer interpret this line, right? So 3 and then HR and then again this is going to repeat to IT, right? So now this is going to go on until we reach the last row. And what is the last row? 6 F 1 1 HR. This is again going to repeat to IT, right? Now, if you have understood this, right, so I think you will not face any problem in join because this what I am telling you is how this thing happened within the system or within the computer, right? But you don't want this. You don't want all the records. So what it is doing is if you know basic mathematics and you know what a union is, right? Or what a intersection is. So you can very well see the pattern here. So what is this doing? It is intersecting each of these rows with each of these rows. So let's say if we have 6 rows here, right? And we have 2 rows here. So how many rows are we going to get in this final table? Anyone?
12.
12, right? But this is not the final table. This is simply just these two statements, right? But you never stop your query on these two statements, right? But this is what the computer will first draw in its memory, right? Computer will first draw all the 12 columns. Now, you see, you don't want everything. You want only specifics of that. So whenever you do a join, I told you, you join it on a key. And what is the key here? The department ID here is the key. Because what will you do with, let's say, this A ID 1 person with department 1? What will this do with department ID 2? I don't need this, right? Because this person is in department 1. Why are we linking it with the ID of department 2? We don't want this, right? So we want to eliminate this. Similarly, here this person is from department 1. Why do you want the information from department 2? You don't want. So what you want is you just want the department or the details where a person's department is linked to the details of the department. So that means the department ID should be same in both the tables. Though you can join or you can know the values of the other department as well against this particular row, but you don't want that. Right? You only want the department name. So now what you do, you simply put here on. I'll use a blue color here. You simply put a on here and you do what is the condition. So your condition is T1 dot. Now just pay attention. T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot ID. Now see what I've done here. I've specified on from which table I want to link which key. So I want to link the department ID key from the T1 table because now the table name is T1 and link it to the ID. ID is nothing but the department ID of the department table. So ID of the table T2. Now what this does is on is nothing but imagine it like a where condition. Now what it will do is after this table, now it will check these two in which cases in which row we have this condition meeting. So what do you want? Department ID of first table. So this was your table T1, this was your table T2. It will check is this department ID equal to this? Yes. So it is going to pick this. Is this department ID equal? No. Then it is going to reject this. Then it will come to the third row. Is this department ID same? Yes. Is this same? No. Then it will come here in the fifth row. You see here there is department ID is 2 and the department ID department column is 1. So this is not same. Here we have 2, 2 same, right? So you're getting what we are doing. So now we are eliminating all those that we don't want. See. So now in the final table, what you'll get is something we have not specified which column we want, but what are the rows that we are going to get? We are going to get only those rows where our on condition meets, right? So this is going to be our first row, which is this one. Then it is going to be a second row, which is this again. And then which one? Then I think it was a third row, 3C, 2, 2HR, right? Now this is going to be our final table. And now from this, now you select which column you want, right? I'll tell you. So have you like understood this logic? Anyone who's I'm taking this slow because I don't want, this is an important concept and most of the interviews usually happen around this concept, right? When it comes to join. So anyone having facing any doubt of how is this thing working within the computer's memory? किसी को कोई doubt है तो बताओ, anyone?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, who is this?
Rahul.
Yeah, Rahul, tell
Rahul,
me.
yes, sir. On the last step.
Which one? The on condition?
Uh, uh,
All right, I'll show that again. Just give me a minute. Yeah, see, again. Let us take a smaller row this time. One, two, three, A, B, C, one, one, two. This is ID, this is name, this is department ID. This is table T1. Let me call this T1 and let us call this T2. This is the ID and this is the department name. 1, 2, HR, IT. See, when I say select, I'm not saying which column you want to select. We'll see this later. From T1, join T2. So what I said, when you just write this, the computer select in its memory creates this table first. So as soon as it sees T1, so it will join each of these rows, which each of these rows, right? So what are you going to get? 1A1, 1 HR. Then again 1A1, 2 IT. Then you'll go to 2, 2B1, 1 HR. This is like no puzzle. If you have ever solved puzzle or if you like these kind of games, so you would have understood this कि हो क्या रहा है exactly. 3, 2, 2, 3C, 2, 1 HR, 3C2, 2 IT. Right. So this is the table that is drawn in the memory of the computer. Now you say on T1 dot let me just name this table also ID name department ID. This is from table T1 and you always see try to visualize it the way it is written. So T1 is written first, so it will come to the left. T2 is written on the right, so it will come to right. T2, here you have ID and you have department name, right? Now you're applying a on condition here. On T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot ID. So now you have said that I want to satisfy this condition or I want only those rows where I have this condition meeting, right? Because if you don't write this, then you will get this table. But in this table, there's no point in having this row. See, this row, you have all the employee ID, but he's not belonging to department one, right? Two. So what do you do with the department two details against its record or against its value? So you have to eliminate this. You only want department name and department name will match by the department ID or linked by the department ID. So you do this T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot department ID. So with this on condition, what it will go is it will go in this table and check. T1 means this table ka department ID is this one. Is this equal to T2 ka ID? This is T2, T2 ka ID. Yes, this is equal. This is sorry, this is equal. So it will pick this. Is this equal? No, it will reject this. Is this equal? Yes, it will pick this. Is this equal? No, it will reject this. Is this equal? No, it will reject this. Is this equal? It will pick this. Right. So now in the final table, what you will get is you will get 1 A 1 1 HR. Right. This is T1. This is T2. This is ID, name, department ID. This is ID. This is department name. Right. Then this is 2 B 1 1 HR. Then this is 3 C 2 2 IT. Now see, what did we get here? We got nothing but all those rows which are, or all those department ID which matches this department ID, right? So one matches here,
Yes.
one matches here, two matches here, right? So earlier, what without on condition, what it was doing, it was matching this one with everyone. But you want to match this one with only one, right? So here you get this match. You want to match this two with only two, so you get this match, right? So are you guys getting what's happening here? So what is happening is we
Yes.
are
Yes.
getting only those department number or department ID which is in the employee table and which is in the department table, right? So which are common. So this is your key. Now, but this is not what you want. You don't want this entire table. You want only the, let's say, you like you see these two things repeating. You want only, let's say, ID name and the department name. You don't want the department ID. So now in the select statement, which I think I left blank here, you see, now you specify from which table, which column you want. So what your final query is going to be, select T1 dot ID, comma, T1 dot name and T2 dot department name from T1 join T2 on T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot ID. So this is going to be your final query, and what this will do is it will only select this, and this. So your final table is going to be only three columns. Now with the ID of the employee, name of the employee, and the department name of the employee. Right? So ID is 1, 2, 3, name is A, B, C, and department is HR, IT. Right? See. So from this table here, which was 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, what you did was you somehow got, instead of this 1, 2, you linked it to the department name. So here is what you want. So is it clear now? It might be a little overwhelming, but just try to grasp this concept very slowly and very meticulously in your mind, because this is going to be helpful in the future. Anyone having any problem here? Rahul, is your doubt clear?
हाँ हाँ।
Who is this?
मेरा एक और क्वेरी था, ये जैसे आपने
हाँ
टी वन डॉट डिपार्टमेंट आईडी T2 डॉट आईडी किया, अगर हम
हाँ
T2 पहले कर दें तो
हाँ
क्या सेम क्वेरी आएगी?
हाँ,
हम टेबल।
देखो उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता जब तक तुम ज्वाइन, जैसे देखो, दिस इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन। देखो यहाँ पे जब तक तुमको खाली ये रख, जब तुम फ्रॉम कर रहे हो ना, इसमें कौन सा पहले आ रहा है, इसमें कौन सा बाद में आ रहा है, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है।
हाँ
समझ में आ रहा है? यहाँ पर T1 अगर पहले आ रहा है, यहाँ पर T2 पहले आ रहा है, तो तुम यहाँ पर अगर T2 डॉट डिपार्टमेंट आईडी भी लिख दो ना, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो यहाँ से ज्वाइन करने से, यहाँ चेकिंग, ये तो चेकिंग कंडीशन है ना, तो वो यहाँ से, अभी क्या हम कर रहे हैं, हम पहले ये चेक कर रहे हैं फिर ये चेक कर रहे हैं। अभी ये क्या करेगा, अगर तुम T2 को पहले लिख दो, T1 को बाद में लिख दो, तो ये पहले यहाँ से चेक करेगा। बात एक ही हुई ना, सेम 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 रो में ना, ये
हाँ
रो तो एक ही है, तो ये यहाँ से चेक करे या यहाँ से चेक करे। हाँ, अगर तुम ज्वाइनिंग कंडीशन चेंज कर दो, अगर तुम T2 पहले लिख दो, रिजल्ट सेम आएगा, बट पहले क्या करेगा, ये इसको इससे ज्वाइन करेगा, फिर इसको 1 से ज्वाइन करेगा, फिर इसको इससे ज्वाइन करेगा, है ना। तो ये 1 के करस्पॉन्डिंग 3 वैल्यूज आएंगी, फिर ये 2 के करस्पॉन्डिंग 3 वैल्यूज आएंगी। तो इसमें तुम पहले कौन सा रखते हो ये मैटर करता है, इसमें मैटर नहीं करता, तो ऑन में कौन सा लगाते हो। ठीक है, समझ में आया?
हाँ, आउटकम मंथ तब सेम आएगा।
हाँ।
ठीक।
एनीवन एल्स, किसने हाथ उठाया था?
Yeah, Neil, I had a question.
हु
Like
इज दिस?
in select
हर्षवर्धन, या
Harshvardhan. Like in select, if you are writing star only, then will it create syntax error?
हाँ, अब नो, अगेन अ गुड क्वेश्चन। देखो अगर तुम्हारा T1 टेबल में ऐसे कॉलम नेम है, ठीक है, लेट मी से T1 टेबल में आईडी है, नेम है, और क्या था, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी है, ठीक है, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी, और T2 कॉलम में तुम्हारा है, मान लो डिपार्टमेंट आईडी है और डिपार्टमेंट नेम है, ठीक है, डिपार्टमेंट नेम है, ठीक है। अब देखो, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी यहाँ पर है, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी यहाँ पर है, ठीक है, और तुम कर देते हो सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम T1 join T2 on T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot department ID। तो यहाँ तक तो ठीक है, ये T1 ये सिमिलर डिपार्टमेंट आईडी को ज्वाइन कर देगा, ठीक है, तो ये इसको ज्वाइन कर देगा, इसको रिजेक्ट कर देगा, ये ठीक है। लेकिन जब तुम स्टार लगाते हो ना, तो तुम स्टार लगाते हो तो उसको बोलते हो कि अब देखो एक ही टेबल में दो सेम कॉलम नेम नहीं हो सकते ना, तो अब तुम्हारा फाइनल जो टेबल आएगा वो कुछ ऐसा आएगा, अगर तुम स्टार लगाते हो आईडी, नेम, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी, और यहाँ फिर से डिपार्टमेंट आईडी है, तो ये टेबल कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा, कंप्यूटर कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि यार सेम कॉलम नेम क्यों आ रहा है, तो ये यहाँ पर एरर देगा। बट अगर तुम्हारा ये मान लो डिपार्टमेंट आईडी नहीं होता, ये डिपार्टमेंट आईडी 2 होता, ऐसा कुछ होता, तब तुम्हारा चल जाता, राइट। तो स्टार कभी भी लगाने से दिक्कत होती है कि सारे कॉलम्स देगा हमें वो, बट अगर सेम कॉलम नेम होगा ना तो ये सिंटैक्स एरर दे देगा। तो इससे इससे जब बेटर ये होता है कि अगर तुम्हें पता है कि हाँ दोनों टेबल में सारे के सारे कॉलम नेम डिफरेंट है, तब तुम स्टार लगा लो। बट अगर तुमको पता है कि नहीं यार कॉलम नेम मैच हो रहे हैं, तो उस केस में तुमको स्पेसिफाई करना होगा, क्योंकि तुमको सारे कॉलम चाहिए, तो तुमको बताना पड़ेगा T1 डॉट आई डी, T2 T1 डॉट नेम, T1 डॉट डिपार्टमेंट आई डी, ठीक है, कॉमा T2 डॉट डिपार्टमेंट आई डी, T2 डॉट डिपार्टमेंट नेम, तब ये तुमको सारे कॉलम देगा। समझ में आया
हाँ, समझ
हर्षवर्धन?
गए।
तो
हाँ,
बस
हाँ,
ये देखना कि अगर कॉलम नेम सेम है ना दोनों टेबल में, तब तुम स्टार से तुम्हारा काम नहीं चलेगा, पर अगर कॉलम नेम डिफरेंट है तो तुम्हारा स्टार से काम चल जाएगा, ठीक है।
ठीक।
ठीक है, चलो अब हमने ये ज्वाइन कर लिया, तो अब मैं माई एसक्यूएल वर्कबेंच पे एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट देता हूँ, लेट्स सी इफ यू आर एबल टू डू दैट और नॉट। तो अभी हमको पता है, हमने दो दो टेबल देखा, क्या था, एम्प्लॉय टेबल देखा। अब देखो यहाँ तुम्हें पता है ये हो गया तुम्हारा एम्प्लॉय टेबल में क्या है, एम्प्लॉय आईडी है, उनके सारे डिटेल्स और डिपार्टमेंट आईडी है। अब मुझे कोई बताएगा कि मैं क्या क्वेरी लिखूंगा कि मुझे डिपार्टमेंट आईडी की जगह पे जो है डिपार्टमेंट नेम मिल जाए और ये सारे टेबल मिल जाए, पर मुझे डिपार्टमेंट आईडी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे यहाँ पे डिपार्टमेंट नेम चाहिए। सो व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू डू? आई थिंक लेट्स गो विथ, किसने आंसर नहीं किया आज के क्लास में? आई थिंक लेट मी सी इफ यू आर गेटिंग दिस कंसेप्ट और नॉट। विजय, लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ यू। विजय,
Yes, sir.
yeah, can you tell me, can you give me the table where I have the ID, first name, first last name, salary, and the department name of each of the employee, not the department ID,
Okay.
department name. So what are we going to do?
Select
हाँ, उस पे बाद में आते हैं, अभी
employee
पहले अभी
ID.
पहले हाँ एक मिनट यहाँ पर आते हैं, पहले बताओ
हाँ,
टेबल कौन 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 से ज्वाइन करोगे
okay.
फ्रॉम
From this table, employee table.
एम्प्लॉय टेबल, तो इसको मैं लिख देता हूँ। और देखो अब मैं बता रहा हूँ कि एलियास क्यों देते हैं। अगर यहाँ पर
हाँ,
तुम एज करके T1 दे दोगे ना, तो ये तुम्हारा इजी हो जाएगा। अब तुम्हारा तुमको ये पूरा E002 DB एम्प्लॉय नहीं टाइप करना, तो इसको हमने दे दिया
okay.
फ्रॉम दिस ज्वाइन
ठीक।
डिपार्टमेंट
दूसरा
टेबल
टेबल
ज्वाइन
हो।
करूंगा, ठीक
हाँ,
है, इसको एज दे देता हूँ एज T2, ठीक है। अब बताओ ज्वाइनिंग कंडीशन क्या होगी?
T1 dot
हम्म
department ID
डिपार्टमेंट आईडी इज इक्वल
is
टू
equal to T2 dot.
T2 डॉट T2 में देख लेते हैं कॉलम
उसमें
का
क्या
नाम
है?
क्या है, हाँ देख लेते हैं। T2 में क्या है तुम्हारा आईडी है सिर्फ, ठीक
ID.
है, T2 डॉट आईडी, ठीक है। अब ये तो ठीक है, अब मुझे
हम्म,
चाहिए क्या क्या?
हम्म,
अब देखो,
हाँ,
अब जैसे ना वो हर्षवर्धन का क्वेश्चन, अगर मैं यहाँ पर ना
हम्म,
स्टार दे देता हूँ,
Q.
तुमको क्या लग रहा
हम्म,
है स्टार ये वर्क करेगा यहाँ पे? लेट अस अज्यूम कुछ लैंग्वेज में कुछ कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर कर देते हैं वर्क, पर लेट अस
हम्म,
जस्ट से मैंने स्टार कर दिया, मुझे सारे डिटेल्स चाहिए, मुझे डिपार्टमेंट आईडी भी चाहिए, सब कुछ चाहिए। पर देखो यहाँ पर आईडी है, मेरा अजम्पशन ये है कि
हम्म,
यहाँ पर आईडी है और दूसरे टेबल में
उसमें
भी आईडी था, तो वो एरर देना चाहिए, मेरा अजम्पशन है, बट दिस माइट गो रॉन्ग। देखो यहाँ पर
हम्म,
आ गया, बट ये हमेशा नहीं होता, तो इट इज ऑलवेज अ बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस टू अवॉइड दिस थिंग। यहाँ पर आ गया क्योंकि ये माई एसक्यूएल वर्कबेंच कभी कभार ये सब एरर्स को हटा देता है, बट जनरली ये केस में एरर आता, ठीक है। अगर आप किसी और मान मान लो जो प्रोप्राइटरी सॉफ्टवेयर होते हैं वहां पर आता ही, अगर मैं इसको डेटाब्रिक्स में चलाऊंगा तो एरर आएगा, ठीक है। इनफैक्ट वहां पर तो नाम, हर एक कॉलम का स्पेसिफिक नाम भी देना होता है, तो यहाँ पर मैं क्या करूंगा, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस क्या होगी, अगर मुझे ये दोनों सेम कॉलम नेम हटाना है और मुझे डिपार्टमेंट आईडी चाहिए ही नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ डिपार्टमेंट नेम चाहिए, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, T1 डॉट
AD,
एम्प्लॉय आईडी, आईडी कर रहा हूँ तो एम्प्लॉय आईडी सेलेक्ट कर रहा है, क्योंकि T1 में आईडी का मतलब एम्प्लॉय आईडी है। T1 डॉट आईडी और
T1 dot
T1
first
डॉट
name,
फर्स्ट नेम और
T1
T1
dot
डॉट लास्ट नेम और T1 डॉट सैलरी। टी
space range,
अब मुझे चाहिए क्या, मुझे डिपार्टमेंट आईडी नहीं चाहिए, तो अब मैं क्या करूंगा, अब मुझे डिपार्टमेंट नेम चाहिए, तो मैं क्या
T2
करूंगा,
department.
टी
T2
टू
dot
डॉट डिपार्टमेंट नेम, एग्जैक्टली, गुड। तो ये समझ में आ गया सबको। ठीक, अब मैं इसको रन करूंगा तो मुझे आ जाना चाहिए, देखो। अब पहले जो डिपार्टमेंट आईडी आ रहा था उसकी जगह मुझे सबका डिपार्टमेंट, तो समझ में आ रहा है कैसे वर्क कर रहा है ज्वाइन, इज एवरीवन गेटिंग दिस,
हाँ हाँ।
Yes.
है ना।
Yes,
तो
sir.
ये मैंने कंडीशन दिया ना, तो ये मुझे देखना पड़ेगा, इसके की बोलते हैं, इसलिए मैंने तुमको ये जो चीज दिखाई ना, अब ये अगर ये कंसेप्ट समझ में आ गया ना, तो मतलब तुम्हारा ज्वाइन 80% हो गया। इसके बाद खाली हमको अभी खाली डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ज्वाइन देखना है। देखो ये की इंपॉर्टेंट है, अगर मान लो कोई की नहीं है ना एक टेबल में, अब इससे मुझे पता है कि ये डिपार्टमेंट आईडी ये डिपार्टमेंट नन यहाँ पर मैच कर रहा है, पर लेट से मैं इसको क्या करता हूँ ना, मैं जस्ट तुमको दिखाने के लिए लेट से इस टेबल के कहाँ गया, हाँ, इस टेबल में अभी तो मुझे पता है कि ये दोनों लिंक है, इसके लिए ज्वाइन हो जा रहे हैं, पर लेट से मैं क्या करता हूँ ना, इसके आईडी को एम्प्लॉय आईडी को मैं एक बार ज्वाइन करके देखता हूँ। देखो एम्प्लॉय आईडी और डिपार्टमेंट आईडी में लिंक नहीं है, पर मैं फिर भी कर सकता हूँ क्या, लेट मी जस्ट सी। फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ डिपार्टमेंट आईडी की जगह मैं एम्प्लॉय आईडी डाल दूँ, तो ये क्या लग रहा है, ये कोड रन करेगा, एनीवन।
No.
क्योंकि यार कोई कॉमन नहीं है ना, कुछ कॉमन नहीं तो कुछ आएगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि देखो एम्प्लॉय आईडी क्या क्या है, एम्प्लॉय आईडी में अगर एक रिपीटेड वैल्यू, ये देखो थाउजेंड या 10,000 में है, ठीक है, और डिपार्टमेंट आईडी 1 2 3 में है, तो ये कोई लिंक ही नहीं है, तो फिर ये लिंक काम नहीं करेगा। तो इसमें ना कभी भी इसके लिए ना इसको बोलते हैं कि एक का प्राइमरी की दूसरे के फॉरेन की से इक्वल होना चाहिए। तो ये मैं कंसेप्ट तुमको फिर से बताऊंगा प्राइमरी की, अभी खाली सिंपली ये समझो कि दोनों में कुछ कॉमनैलिटी होनी चाहिए। तो जैसे ये डिपार्टमेंट आईडी बता रहा है कि भाई ये किसी डिपार्टमेंट का आईडी, और वो डिपार्टमेंट का आईडी कहाँ मिलेगा, हमको डिपार्टमेंट टेबल से मिलेगा, और फिर तुम इस तरीके का ऑपरेशन करके ये कर सकते हो। और अभी जो हमने पढ़ा ना, ये पूरा जो था ना, इसको इनर जॉइन कहते हैं। जब आप यहाँ पर जॉइन लिखो या इनर जॉइन लिखो, तो देखो हो क्या रहा है, जब आप इनर जॉइन कर रहे हो ना किसी कंडीशन में, तो आई विल नाउ गो टू द ब्लैक बोर्ड। सो ज्वाइन कह लो, ओनली ज्वाइन के लिए इनर ज्वाइन करो, तो इनर ज्वाइन क्या करता है, joins only the common element between the two tables, joins only the common element between the two tables. Are you getting this point? So what? So now, isko na, that's why we generally represent this using this Venn diagram. So let's say this is our table T1, this is our table T2. So what are the common elements between these two tables? So this is the intersection. So that's why whenever you do a inner join, or you are doing nothing but taking the intersection of these two tables. Intersection means you are joining it such that only the common elements of both the tables are joining. So let's say if this was our, I'll again take the same example. Our example was this A, B, C, and this was department HR. This was our employee table. Then this is the department table. 1 2 HR IT. So what is happening when you're doing inner join, or the simply saying join of E with D? So it is an on. Let's say this was our department ID, DID, and DID. So what it is doing is it is only joining the common element. So one is common with yes, one yes. This one is common with one yes. It will not. It will never join one and two, right? And this will, it will never join two and one. It will join two with two, right? So what you're seeing, what's happening? You are only getting the common element. So that's why you generally represent inner join with this kind of Venn diagram, right? So is it clear? Inner join. Everyone got this inner join?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Yeah, yeah. So this. So now, now I'll go to other concept that is called left join. And I think only these two are important. Will not go with full outer join and left join or and right join. Now I'll tell you what is left join. See, diagram wise, try to understand it. Left join means the table on the left, you get all the values of that table plus the common value. This is your left join. What is your inner join or only join? Inner join. Inner join only take the common value. So this is the inner join. Now understand this in a form of table. So whenever you do a inner join, what was our table? 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 1, 1, 2, here 1, 2, HR, IT. Table T1, table T2. You know, inner join, what it does, it only takes the common element. Let's say, I'm assuming this is our joining key, right? So this will join with this will join with this, then this will join with this. This is the inner join, it will only intersect it. Now say left join. Now let's say if I say from T1, this is the syntax for it, left join T2, which is a table on the left T1. So all the values from this table, but common values from both the tables. So what does this mean? It means, now understand it very syntactically, what's happening here. Hmm. When I do a left join, so it will take all the values from this table. So even if it is not matching, 1 with 1, 1 with 2, 1 with 1, 1 with 2, and 2 with 1, and 2 with 2. So what do I mean by that? See, don't be confused. First, let me see what are the common values, right? So what is the common values? 1 A, 1, 1 HR, right? This is the common value. Then 1, sorry, 2 B, 1, 1 HR, then 3 C, 2, 2 IT. Our joining key is still the same. It will join on only when these two matches, right? So our joining key is on T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot department ID. But here you will not face any problem because you know here it will only match the joining key. But let's say if we had another uh, row here, let me call it 4, D and 3. See, 3 is not existing anywhere here, right? 3 is not existing anywhere. We don't have anything that is common with 3. But we have done a left join. So what will left join do is left will join this fourth row 3, but here we don't have anything that matches here, so it will give you a null here. So this is what left join is. So what did the left join do? It took up all the rows that are common with the common joining ID, and then that row in the left table is T1, which doesn't have any corresponding ID in the right table. It will show all that rows as well, but the corresponding values which should have been there in the right table, we don't have anything against that, so it will give you a null here. I think ये थोड़ा it might have gotten a little confusing here. I'll take a very precise example again. Let us take one, or let me just give you a problem statement here. Let me call this table T1. Yeah, who is this?
Sir, before,
Yeah, before time.
sir, instead of writing joint,
Huh?
error.
Sorry, Vibhor, I didn't. You were not audible. What did you say?
Instead of writing left join in a previous discussed question,
Huh?
what happens if we write simply join?
Only join.
Yeah, only join.
Yeah, if you write only join, then it will give you a inner join, which is the intersection. As I told you, right? If you just write join, it will give you this result. This is a common value.
What
But if
what it will
uh,
show for the fourth person where his department ID is not mentioned in the
yeah, so
second
yeah,
table.
so it will. Okay, I got your question. So it will not include that result in the final table. So that's what I was doing. I will draw this table, new table, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, and let me call this department 1, 1. 2, and 3. Right, this was our table T1. This is our table T2. This is 1, 2, HR, IT. Now see, you don't have the values corresponding to the third department in the department table, right? But if you do this join, only join, T1, inner join or left join, sorry, inner join or only join, T1 join T2, right? From T1 join T2 on T1 dot department ID is equal to T2 dot department ID. This is department ID. This is department ID, right? So here you see, if you just do join, what it will do is it will just, as I told you, it will only take the common element, right? And you see 3 doesn't have any element. So 3 will not be included in the final table. So how many result will you have in the final table? Only 3. Let's say you do a left join here. So left join will first do this thing. It will do, always remember, first you do what is happening in normal join, in only join. And then whatever rows are left, which doesn't have a corresponding value in the right, you simply write that down, one by one. Let's say if we had 4E and here we had 5. So what your final result would be, it will be first these 3 rows, which are the common, and then 4 and 5. The only difference is these rows will have a department name here, HR to IT, but the fourth one will have null. No, sorry, it will have here it will have null, and 5 it will have null. Getting my point? This is what a left join does. So this, understand this difference clearly. Left join takes up all the rows which doesn't have a matching in the second table, whereas only join will take up only those rows which have a matching in the second table. Are you getting my point? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, yes, I get it.
Yeah. Now, if you understood left join, similarly you can do this for right join. The only difference is a table which is on the left side will come on the right side, right? So let's say here, if you do a right join, what will happen? Anyone?
From T2, it will
Or let's
process.
not go into right join. Right join is not very important. You just understand inner join and left join, and 99.9% of your problems are solved, right? So join, we understood 2 joins today, which was the inner join. So always remember this Venn diagram. It will be very helpful. This is your inner join and this is your left join, right? So all the rows without a matching are included, but from the first table only, from T1 only, right? Because T1 is on the left. Let me give you an example here. Again, we'll take a similar table but slightly modified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. Let me call this department 1, department 1, department 2, department 3, department 3, department 1, department 2, and HR, IT. I want, let me see who hasn't spoken today. Varun, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Varun. So, can you give me, or just tell me how many rows will be in the final table when you do T1 inner join, T2 on this column? Let me call this column as DID, DID. On T1 dot DID is equal to T2 dot DID. Can you tell me what will be the rows here?
Yes. Um, like 1A1
One A1 against one
HR.
HR, right? Because this matches.
Yes.
Then this will be again one HR, right? Two
Yes.
A1 HR. Then
Okay.
three
Then 3
C
C
two
2 2 IT.
two IT, right? So
In,
how many
in
rows
second
you
one
will
it
have?
will
How
2B.
many? Sorry,
2B in second one.
2B. Oh, yeah, 2B, sorry. 2B, 2B and 3C. All right. So this is correct. Now, if I do a left join here, Varun, you tell me.
Yes. In left joint the 4D
4D3,
3. Okay, then null values.
null, null.
Hmm.
Then
5E3 null values.
E3, null, null. All right. So I think he got this. Now I'll just change it slightly. I'll write here 4 and I'll write here product. Right. Now, can you tell me inner join what will happen?
Yes.
What will happen in the inner join, Varun?
Yes. Yes. In inner, it will be same with first, second, and third row.
It will be same?
Yes, because 3 doesn't matches with 4.
Yes, it will be same. Okay. Just a second. Again, the same problem. Hmm. Let me change this question now. Uh, now who will talk? Lokesh, can you listen to me?
Yes, Neil.
Yeah, Lokesh. Now, can you tell me, this is your table T1, this is your table T2, and you do a inner join of T1, inner join T2. Can you tell me what the
Okay.
final table will be on this key? Let us call this ID,
1A1, 1HR,
1A1, 1
1HR,
HR, yeah,
2B1, 1HR,
2B1, 1 HR,
3C2, 2IT,
uh, 3
C2,
C2, 2
2IT,
IT,
3C2, 2 product.
3C2, 2 product.
2
Yes.
product.
So see, this might not be correct logically or business wise, but yes, this is correct syntaxically, or maybe this is correct mathematically. So mathematically, what is happening when you're doing this T1 inner join T2, T1 dot ID is equal to T2 dot ID. So what's happening here is it will take all those which matches, right? So here two matches with two twice. So first it will match with this and then it will match with this. Even though these are different departments and it is not possible for one person to be in different department. But in interviews, they ask you this kind of question because they want to see whether you got the basics right or not. So did you get this? Now I'll just shift this, like make this a little more complex. I'll add 4C, mm, let me call this 3, and let me do this 1, let me do this 3, and let me call this as maybe accounts. And I just need the final number of rows which will happen when if you do a left join. I think who will talk this time? This time, let us go with who hasn't spoken in the class till now. I think Indu, we have not spoken since a long time. Can you hear me, Indu?
Yes,
Indu is there. Indu, will you be comfortable telling me what will be the final output if you do T1 left join T2?
5 rows, I think.
5 rows.
Yes.
How 5 rows? One will join with one.
Two will join with
Then
one.
this one will join with one. So 2 rows. Then this two will join with these two. How many? Again two,
4
right? And then do we have a match for this three? Yes.
accounts.
So plus
Total
one.
5.
How many? 5.
5.
So see, even though we don't have anything missing, we still did a left join. So left join here works as a inner join because we have all the rows in this ID matching with this ID. So when you have all the matching rows, that time left join works as a inner join, right? But if you have, let's say, if you had 4 here, what would have been the case here? 4 would have come as it is. So it would have been 6 rows. So yes. So I
Yes.
think you guys got this concept very clearly. I think we can move ahead with uh, I think one problem, and I think we'll be done for the day. I don't want to like waste your Sunday anymore. Uh, we have this two table. Now, let me just see this. Yeah. Hmm. So now, can you tell me the department name and the total salary drawn in that department? So, for example, we did here. Sorry, what went wrong here? Department ID. So we have this. I think we did this join. Now, what I want is I want you this department name and the sum of salary. So is it possible to do this in this join itself? I have to group by. I want to group by the department name, which is this department, and this I have to group by on the salary or the total salary. Is it possible to do it?
No.
Anyone? Let us try this. Let us say that we have this, and and let us try to group by here. We have this table, and let me say we do a group by T2 dot department, and I don't want all these. I just want this sum of. I'm just doing this, just for our sanity check whether this is possible or not. So what we are doing is we are joining this table from E2 from T1 dot T2 on department ID. So we are getting the department name, and now from this resultant table, what I'm trying to do is do a T2 dot department and then group by T2 dot department salary and group by. Let me see whether this runs or not. It ran, right? So you see, even while performing these table joins, you can do a group by or anything like. Now let's say if I just want to order this order by, just be very specific that you have to mention a table name every time or the column name. So what is the column name here? This order by DESC, and let me run this. Now this says order by the salary in the descending order. So the operations have total salary of this much, human resource have total salary of this much. So getting my point. And let's say you don't want to do
Yes,
this.
yes.
Let's say you don't want to do this. Let us keep it very simple for now. You just got using a simple join. You got all the details here. Select star. See, you got this, right? Now, what if I tell you that the previously what did I do is I did everything in the single query, right? In the single query, I did a group by. But let's say if I want to use this resultant table as a new table, right? And then from that table get the output that I want. So let's say this is our table after we join. You can simply put here also, right? You can simply put here T1 dot, let's say I just want the first name, right? First name. So it is possible that I get the first name from this table, select T1 dot, and I get the first name. But let's say I don't want that. I want to use this resultant table as a new table, right? And then from this new table, I want to do the query. So this is what is called a subquery. So what do you do in a subquery is you put, you know what the final output of this table will be. You put that in brackets and give that a name. Let us call this name as uh, new table, new table, right? And then from this new table, from you put a from here, you select using the column name of this subquery. What is the column name? First name. So you see what's happening here? It's nothing but using this table which you get when you do a join, using this table and calling this with a new name as a new table, and then doing nothing but doing a simple select first name from this table. So you see this table is now acting as a table for our second query. Hence this query is called a subquery. And you run this, you get a similar result. What happened? Okay, duplicate ID name. So here you get that duplicate ID name. First name. Now you get. So I think Vibhor, who asked that, Harshvardhan asked that question, what happens if we select
Come
a
again.
star here, right? So see, Harshvardhan, you get why it is a bad practice to select star, because though our query was not giving an error
It was
previously,
not creating a new table. That's why,
yeah,
like for further that.
yes. But if you see, if you run this, see here, you're getting ID twice, right? So you get ID here, ID here. But now when you create a new table, right? Let's say I'm calling I'm using this table as a subquery for another query. So here, if I use a star and then I say select first name. So now the table gets confused that your table is having two ID. So you cannot store a table with two ID in the database. Hence, you have to specify here. Right. So we do a best practice is to name the corresponding column of which table you want to refer it to, and then do all the querying. So you're getting my point. So is this thing clear? Join, left join, subqueries.
One thing, Neil,
Yeah.
let's say like in this query only, you have given a new table name, right? New table.
Hmm.
So is it
Hmm.
possible to save this table in a database?
Yeah, that is possible. See, all these things, all these actions are temporary actions. It will only be saved for that instant for which you're running. But if you want to save this, then you have to do there's a separate function in MySQL which is called update. So you do update and then you enter the table name and you append all those values. So we'll learn that later on. It's not required. But here, always remember these are temporary operations. Or there's also a thing called as create temporary table. So you can create a temporary table and then use that to refer, right? So I'm not sure whether MySQL Workbench supports this or not, but let us do this. Create temporary table T3 as, let me see whether this creates it or not. Yeah, it has created. So when you use this temporary table, now when you do select star from T3, so it will give you, I'm assuming, yeah, that will give you. So see what we have done is, let's say if you don't want to do with don't want to go with subqueries and all, but you want to use the result of this table. So what was our table? This was our table. So you want to store this table in some permanent table for that time for the duration in which you are running this. So what you do is you put this clause create temporary table. Temporary table is a syntax, and then you put the table name, which table, what is the name, you can give any name. Let me call this new table, and then you put this as clause. whatever is in blue is called the syntax of this, MySQL as, and then you put all the query that you want, and then you complete it with a colon. And now when you run this, I think I cannot run it again because this table is already created, so it will give me an error, I guess. No, it didn't give. Yeah, it is. I gave it a new name. Now let's say I'm again running this. Now this should give me error because this table already exists, right? Now when I do a query from new table, I can easily do it. So now new table will be this, right? So is it clear now,
One
Harshvardhan?
thing, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's clear. Just remove temporary from it. I want to see like it create a permanent table, right?
No, this is not how you create a permanent table. In this case, you can, let me see. Yeah, I think in this case you can. This will be saved here in your database. See new table. But you don't want this to do because it will occupy space in your database. If you just do create table, so now this table is created, but it has taken a space in your database. So let's say if you are sometimes doing queries for finding out some smaller thing, and if you do create table, so it will populate your database and occupy space. So the best way now if you have to delete this, then you have to go here and select the delete table, or maybe delete table. You have to do delete table from here. So it is always a best practice to create temporary table because you don't want to tamper with the database, because database is something, and also most of the companies won't allow you to create table without authentication. So here you can create because this is our own server. But let's say in a company, if you're working as a data analyst, so you cannot just create table. You will have to enter the credentials, because if you're creating table, that means you are altering the database and you're occupying space in the database, but the company will not want that. So that's why a company gives you an option of creating temporary table. So
Uh,
is it
uh,
clear now?
yeah. And one
Anyone
more
else?
thing I wanted
Yeah,
to ask, like
yeah.
in join only,
Hmm.
where there is on clause,
Hmm.
can we use or and operators
See,
to
on
look
clause,
at the table?
you how will you use where or operator? Let's say if you get T1 is equal to T2, and you're trying to say that or T1 is equal to that way.
Say I want to link several tables rather than just two
Yeah,
tables.
so that is a different thing. So yes, you can use and, or for several table you do from T1 join this, and then you again on this, then you put again join. So you have to go systematically. So we'll teach no, I'll teach you how to join more than two tables in the next class. So for this class, you just remember that whenever you're joining two tables, you cannot have multiple on conditions.
Okay, got it.
You'll only have one on condition. But if you want multiple on condition, then you'll have to have more than one table. For that, let's say you have another table here. Then once you've joined this table, then you again put join T4, and then you put a on condition T3 dot ID is equal to maybe T4 dot ID. So this is how you do it. And let's say you have to join another table, and join T5 on T4.id is equal to T5.id. It becomes complicated, so don't get confused. But yeah, you can do this thing. You can do multiple tables, but instead of on, you have to specifically use join again, and then put the on condition after that.
One more question I had.
Yeah.
Let's suppose I want to give a condition,
Hmm.
like where condition.
Yeah.
So, will we write that where condition after from syntax or after the join and on
Yeah,
syntax?
you can write it either ways. It will work. So I'll give you like let us take this example. Let me just run this table here. So let's say I just want to join, or I want to view the details of only uh, I don't know. I want to use only two. I want to know the all the employees working in department two, right? I don't want three, four, one, right? So I think this is a good question asked by Harshvardhan. So let us remove this. We'll do simple select star from T1 where T1 ID is equal to T2. Now where, right? Where T1 or maybe T2 dot or maybe T1 dot ID department ID is equal to, I just want it for 2, right? And let me just run this. See, now it will give you all the employee who are working in department 2 only, right? And let's say if you put this clause here after the from. Now you try to run. So see, this is going to show you error from join where T2. Let me see what the error is. So yeah, so where has to come after your join statement.
If we put it after from, then also it will cause error only, right?
From this where after this
After this inner join. Yeah. After this.
T1 yeah, I think it is showing error. Let me see what that error is. Yeah, it is going syntax error. So where has to come after you have put the join,
Okay, got it.
right? Any other question? So do you understand? Like, did you guys understand how do you use join, inner join, left join? Then you add a where condition as well if you want to filter before the join has happened or after the join has happened. Right? Anyone, any doubt? Lokesh and Prasant, this is the first class, so are you getting like getting the knack of what we are doing? I'm pretty sure that you know all these things beforehand, but did you get whatever was taught today?
Yes, I do. And one more thing,
Yeah.
even if it is in the home environment, if we create a table, unless we do commit, it won't be stored, right? Will it be?
Sorry.
Just a moment.
Here, this create table one.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What you're saying is
Uh,
if you do a create table here in this MySQL workbench,
yeah.
yeah,
If,
it will be stored. It will be stored here. Here, if you do a
uh,
create table, it will be stored first in your database.
there will be no need to use the command commit.
The commit you use it when you store it in a server, right?
Okay.
Like when you're doing this on a cloud server. But this is your MySQL workbench, so this is not a cloud server. This is your local machine. So here,
Okay.
create table will store it in your table, so you don't have to do commit and all.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
If we create
No.
temporary table, it will also show on a database.
Vibhor, can you like speak a little louder?
Yeah, like temporary table, uh, it, it will also show on a CPE database, or it will
Yeah,
store
yeah.
somewhere else.
Nee, temporary table will not show, but if you do a create table, see, I created temporary table before that. No, so it will not show in your CP database. It will only be created for a short time, and as soon as you close your MySQL workbench, it will go. But this new
Okay.
table has now been created, and it will exist in your database, right?
Okay.
Hmm.
uh, like if someone asked a question uh, after joining these two tables,
Hmm.
DB employee and DB
Hmm.
department,
Hmm.
we need all department ID, department name, and their total sum of salary. Then we can easily do that by creating a temporary table. And
Yes. It is
after,
always better to use that. See, let's say if I want T1 dot ID, T1 dot first name, T1 dot salary, and then T2 dot department, right? So let's say this is your table. You have not added any filter, and you want a sum of all the salary of in each department. So you can do it in this way, but it is always better to visualize it when you either do it by subquery or by creating temporary table. So let me create a temporary table. Create temporary table. Let me call this new table 2 because new table 1 has already been created. So unless I delete it, it won't go. So now you see with this create temporary table 2, you have a table created. Now let me just query this. Select star from new table. You see new table is not come in your database, right? Because it is temporary. Now you do this, create star from this, and now from this you can make all the sum of salary and etc. Now let's say I want department. Here you don't have to put T1, T2, etc. because T1 dot T2 dot has already been taken care in the creation part. So create, select department, then salary, sum of salary from new table to group by department, right? Now when you run this, you can get the sum of salary. See, so it is easier this way, right? So always, if you have multiple queries or you have, output of one table to be used for some other table, so always go with either subqueries, which is instead of this create table, you can simply put that in bracket and then do this run, or you can create a temporary table and then use this temporary table as a new table and then do all the querying. Is it clear now?
Right, got it.
Yeah. Any other question? I think there's no question, so we'll stop for the day. I think your most of your concepts are clear now. In the next class, I'll give you problem statements based on joins, left joins, right joins, and I think we'll be done by joins in the next class. And I think your next class will happen most probably tomorrow or maybe Friday. Are you guys okay with tomorrow evening?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Right?
maybe it will not work for me because my working hour is around 8 p.m. So I will be at
Tomorrow
home.
10:30, 10:30 if we
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
no issue with 10:30.
10:30 no issue. No, yeah. So let's do. I think if most of the people are okay with 10:30, I want to finish this joins and subqueries by tomorrow because then most of your part will be done and then you can start with the product class soon and your project soon. So I think tomorrow will be done with almost 80% of MySQL because joins and subqueries are the most important part. And then there is one part